Shalom, 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 shalom. On this Sabbath day, today is the August 7th, 2026. Back, instead of me being on the highway and byway, I'm in the hotel because got off about an hour or so ago, maybe about an hour and a half ago, and it been raining towards the end of the day, and so I decided I'd just go ahead and do an in-house lesson on this Sabbath, practicing, rehearsing on this Sabbath. The Sabbath is what is it? It's now, I guess, Wednesday and Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's Wednesday and Thursday. So let me jump right into it. Let's get busy. Giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekat Kodash, and double honor to the men of Great Millstone that's out there on the highway and byway, pushing this truth day in and day out, also pushing the truth over the worldwide internet, reaching for the elect to pull them out of a two-third state of mind so that we can be beamed up in those chairs of salvation to live in the kingdom under King David and a supreme king, Yahweh, which he has the title of command and authority and rulership over heaven and earth. Though title was given to Yahweh by his father Yahweh. Also, I'm not a member of GMS, but I believe GMS has the 100% truth of the Bible. To the Akim and Aqua, which are the men and women that listen, learn, continue to pray for more faith, repent, and fast, and keep the laws and commandments to the best of your ability, as it states in John 14:15. If ye love me, keep my commandment. Also, Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man. Okay, I was driving from work. Or was it, I might have saw it this morning. And I said I was going to do a lesson on it on this Sabbath day. And it's about how Esau have destroyed the foundation of a family. You know, once you take the man out the house, see, the man, his job is to hold up, he's supposed to keep authority in his house. He controls his house, you know, and the woman, she's secondary. When he's gone, you know, working or whatever he's doing, then the woman, you know, she's ruling the house, right? But during the time of the late 60s, early 70s, all the way up to now, it was more prevalent in the late 60s and all through the 70s and 80s, because I experienced this myself, where if you, as a woman, if you signed up for welfare benefits and you had a man, you couldn't get it. So if you had welfare benefits and you had a man, and someone called on you, and someone from the government or the state would come visit your house, and if you had a man in there, then you lose your benefits. So going forward to now, that division within the family, Esau systematically have caused our women to be independent, as they claim they don't need a man, you know, because of that little thing that he did to the family by putting the man out and having the woman to raise the children, and she don't know how to raise a young man to be a man. You know, she don't know the ups and downs of a man. She only know she's only wired to be female. And this particular video right here says a whole lot right here. When you give the woman the power and the authority to raise, children by herself, somewhere along the line, it's going to be a major hiccup in those children's life. Well, in this particular situation, it's a boy, and without the father helping this mother raise this boy, she's going to go by her emotion, what she think is right, how she feel. Because a lot of these females, they feel, again, they don't need you to raise a boy or any, girl too, but most definitely they feel that they can raise a boy to be a man. But a lot of these women, they are okay with homosexual men being around their young boys. And most young boys, they're going to look at men on how to be a man. They look at his they look at his shoes, how he dress, how he act when he with his woman, how he demand respect in the house, the masculinity of a man, his attire. But when you accept anything that come in your house, you fuck up the whole foundation of raising that young man. When you accept men to be laughing and carrying on in front of this boy, he gonna take up some of those attributes. He gonna take up the twisting. He gonna take up the snapping of the finger. Hey, girlfriend. Even his laugh, and also how he look. Some of them homosexuals have that 1,000-yard stare. And also the attire. So the thing that I want to speak on is the attire of this young boy. And I'm sure a lot of people have seen it on YouTube, right? And it's by the Hopeful Elect 3. Title of it, hit that reset button, because we need to get out of here. Because Esau have turned everything upside down. He's contrary to the Bible. He give now. Let me back up. There are some good. There are some women, that that don't believe in having their sons being around men like that, and I applaud those women. But you have some women, they are okay with that. They are more accepting with that. They are not thinking that this boy, he's taking everything this man in a dress with high heel shoes on and fingernail polish and lipstick and hair weave, he taking that all in. And that's confusion to some boys. Now you have some boys be like, no, this is not where it's at. And Yahweh Ba'ashim Al-Shai, bless those boys to strengthen them and to walk in the right path of being a man. But you have some young men, they take on their ways as their mama. They'll go ahead and say, ain't nothing wrong with that, we friends. And then go play with the guy, and but anyway, I'm gonna show you this video, and it just sad, and I don't know, from what I'm thinking, I could be wrong. The father is not anywhere in the boy's life. If he is, and the boys like, shame on him, you know, because this is ridiculous right here. This is very, very sad to see, because our women, you know, they want to pretty much shit on us and say that, you know, you the F word, you know what I'm saying? You know, you the P word, you know, put you down when you're mad. You know, when they get mad at you, talking about all men, you know. But Salakia, I lost my train of thought just that quick. But yeah. They'll throw those F-bombs to try to hurt your feeling and talk about you, you know. But when it come down with a straight man telling his son that he don't want his son to be dealing or be around a group of men like that, then the woman is defending those F-bombs. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, women like that, they are double-minded. You know, they will look at you being a straight man and tell you in your face that you are F, if you get what I'm saying. F-A, what, G-G-E-T or something like that. You know, call you a P-U-N-K, you know. Talk all negative about you and calling you that particular person that they defend. Or they say, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. He's cool. He just speaking his truth. He's my friend. I love him more than you. He more man than you. See, that's a twisted state of mind to have. And then you raising a man son, because the law is giving you the power to be, as they say that the mother is a better fit. I mean, she's better fit to raise, you know, children. There are some good fathers that are better parent than the mother. You know, but society don't look at it like that. They always want to give the child to the mother because she's the weaker vessel and she's easily to be influenced to deal with people like that. Not all, but most of our women, they will have, you know, F boys, you know, lady boys, to be around their son, and then dress them up like a lady boy. This is what you're about to see. This woman, she says that she pretty much let her son well, I'll let the guy say it, because I don't, you know, this is just, it's ridiculous. So, but check this out. Like I said, this is by the Hopeful Elect 3. Hit that recess button. And when you see it, yeah, we need that recess button, for real.
Shout out to Dr. Smith right here. Shout out to Dr. Smith. This kid got sent home because the principal said, you know what? No, he is out of dress code. He is out of dress code. The principal was like, nah. He's not wearing what boys are supposed to be wearing. Girls wear girl stuff, boys wear boy stuff. This is another reason. And I want you to look at this. I want you to look at what some of the things that this mother was saying. I let him express himself.
I'll let him express himself.
What are we doing? What are we doing as a group of men and women where we allow this? This is terrible. This is not only terrible, but it is almost glorified in our community. We, as men, need to come on, hey, take over. And all you pussies that come in my comments and always be like, oh, let these women do that. The fuck out of here. I'm so sick and tired of you punks. And this is why why we got these boys out here looking like this. What is going on? Why are we like this? Why are we doing this? None of this is solid. And I'm so sick and tired of you soft men allowing it to happen, and you crazy, delusional women. I went in that comments, oh, but he looked cute in that though. I'm so sick and tired of so many individuals allowing this terrible behavior to continue. It needs to change. It needs to change. And I find that the more delusional we get, the worse off our community looks. The worst off. This is not masculine. This is feminine. And shout out to this doctor, Mr. Smith in here, that put her and told her, hey, if you don't pick him up, he gonna be in in-house suspension. Because we not playing this around here. You don't wanna, you can express, let him express that at the house. You're not doing it here. Straight up.
And there you have it.
Shut.
There you have it. There you have it. And what you just saw was very, very effeminate. What did the Lord say about a man being effeminate? That you will not make it to the kingdom of heaven. You know, especially not on the first go around. You know, you're going to come into the kingdom and you're going to be shamed because the Heavenly Father, He's going to put a spirit of remembrance on you. But you're going to be better than the rest of the nation, the other nations, the heathen and Esau. But you're going to go through that hell. You know, you're going to go through Jacob trouble. You know, and Heavenly Father might protect you through that and just let you catch a missile. 1 Corinthians 6:9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh? Be not deceived, neither fornicator, nor idolater, nor adulterer, nor effeminate. There you have it. I'm gonna stop it right there. No effeminate. And she is raising her son to go that route. You know, and it's terrible that. And also, like I said, I did say, you know, women, but also you have some wicked ass men that will think that, you know, that's okay. And if you, as a man, you think that's okay, you need to check yourself. You ain't one of us. I guarantee you that. You are not one of us. But like I said, you know, Esau, he have trained our women to be so independent, you know, and also to have your own child. That boy look like he should be no more than about, what, 7? He just got here. I don't think he's 10 yet. But you saying that he need to express himself. Normally, you know, Edomites do stuff like that with their children. You know, he just expressing himself and just let him just, you know, wear and tear and burn down everything just because he feel that this is going to be what he's going to do in his, you know, life, you know, later on, you know. But listen, our women tear down the foundation. When there's a man in the house and he's righteous, he's going to keep a foundation that's going to be sturdy, that's not going to break. That foundation is order. She have no order in that house, you know. Let's go to going to the scripture again. And what Deuteronomy, that's a like it. Ecclesiastes 3:3 and 9. For the blessing of the father established the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundation. When you put, because she's not supposed to be in no leadership role. The man, he's in a leadership role. When a woman has children by a man, that man, he leads the house. Whenever a woman leads, now don't get me wrong, there have been some women that have led households and their children came out to be, good people, in society. But they could have been a lot better if there was a father in there. Now don't get me wrong, there's some asshole fathers out there too, but we speaking on a boy that's been that is raised by a woman. And she don't look at it like that man and me see it. And I'm sure a lot of other men would say the same thing. You raising that boy wrong. You destroying the foundation of his growth. You taking him down a path of abomination. Because that's going to get him destroyed. That's going to get him ostracized in the streets. That's going to get him unalive in the street too. Because you have these young men dressed up in drags, wearing dresses, just like what that boy was. He was wearing a little mini skirt. Next thing, it's gonna be fingernail polish, and that's big in some of these young guys right now. Hair weave and acting feminine because the mother allowed men, I'm gonna say ladies, boys, in her environment where she have her son, in the house, and he see that he's gonna take on those attributes, and those are not good attributes. Those are feminine attributes. He need to be around masculine attributes. A man that is dressed like a man, act like a man, talk like a man. His mannerism is masculine, not all effeminate, acting like his mama, laughing like his mama, putting on fingernails like his mama, getting his toenails painted like his mama, talking about men like his mama would do with his female, do with her female friend, So she is destroying the foundation of their boy path. We're going to Proverbs 14 and 1. Said every wise woman build her house. A wise woman will keep the father in the house. She wouldn't, even if she did, get some, let's say some government fund or state funding or whatever, because at one point you couldn't have a man in the house, because if you had a man, you lose your state funding. That's their welfare program, from the late 60s to, all through the 70s and 80s. I said it before, I experienced seeing my father had to go hide under the bed when this, puny, skinny white woman that worked for the state that came and had to search my mother. Well, my father and mother had already separated, and he came to to visit us at my mom's house, and he had to go hide up under the bed. Yeah. So, but a wise woman, she will, all right, well, just like they worked us and got free labor out of us, all right, a wise woman would say, okay, well, we're going to work this system. I still need you to help me with these kids, even though we separated, but I still need you to come by and help me raise these kids, and also and also come take care of mama. You know, because sometimes, well, and this day and time, you know, our women are not like the women of old. The men is not like the women of old. This not our power. And sometimes husband and wife have to, you know, separate, and that's just what it was. But a wise woman, she buildeth her house. She understands that she need a man to help with these kids. She's not going to put her man on no child support when he's helping. You know, when he's trying to, you know, do his best. You know, doesn't matter how big or how little. She's not going to destroy the kid's father, you know, life. But a wicked woman, you know, she pluck it down. You know, it says, but the foolish pluck it down with her hand. You know, if she can put you on child support and don't want you around to help raise the kids, she just wants your money. You know, she destroying the foundation of those kids. The kids need the father, especially them boys. They want to know how to be a man. The first man that they need to look at is their father in order to be a man. You know, but you know, our women, that's just evil. You know, women that do that, you are being very evil to your son. You know, what it says, Ecclesiastes 7. Give me 1 second. Ecclesiastes 7. Highlight that. Ecclesiastes 7 and 26. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, talking about traps, and her hands are banned. Whoso pleases Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So, you know, her mind is like it says, I find more bitter than death. I'm just going to stop right there. I find more bitter than death the woman, because she thrives off her emotion. You know, she's not trying to reason to understand that this is not the right thing to do. She don't even care. She don't care. And not just, you know, the ladies, boys. She bring in the drug dealer too. You know, she loved that excitement, and then she have young boys. They see a masculine man that sell drugs, and he's sitting down talking to her about the street life, how he's stealing and robbing, you know, selling his own people, you know, drugs. You don't think no boy listening? You don't think no boy see all that? And then you telling your boy, now say, how you doing, Mr. Mike? And he's talking with the kids, and you. But anyway, you know, a lot of our women don't know how to choose a man. That's why they fathers need to choose the man for them, because they go pick a man, a drug dealer, or some old, you know, just some old lazy, don't want to do anything, worthless man, and have him around the house, and then she'll go hang out and be friends with a lady boy, but get mad at the straight man and call him out of his name, you know, and say that he's no good, but you hang around with, boy. So, also, the attire And Salaki, if I'm sounding kind of low in the spirit, you know, being at work all day and I'm kind of tired, but hey, this word gotta push on, right? Deuteronomy 22:5, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy power. So that young man, what was he wearing? There you go. Let me see if we're gonna pop back up.
You're talking about the best white.
Let's pull this picture back up. Because the Lord
Shout out to Doc.
Okay. Deuteronomy 22:5 said, "Do not wear that which that pertaining to a woman." And what's this here? What's that? What's that? A dress. And got his hand on the hips. Got his hands on his hip, looking all sassy. And in the comments, I wish I can see this here, but I took a picture of it. Not in my laptop here, but I don't know why it didn't pop up. Let me see something. I probably. What's going on here? Okay, let me see. I probably have it here now. Just bear with me. Yeah, here it is right here. I got a much clearer picture right here. So, that is not what the Lord want us to want our man to be. The man supposed to be the protector, the warrior, the soldier. He's the first defense when there's trouble coming in the house. He keep order in the house. But our women, man, I'm telling you, that's wicked. That's evil to do your son like that. And the boy, like I said, I don't think he's 10 years old, to be honest with you. Our women have become evil, to their own children. Deuteronomy 28 and 57, and towards her young one that come out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, for she shall. Salakia, hold on, let me read. Let me go up a little bit. Let me start at 56, but the point is in 57. It says here, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. See, our women back in ancient days were very delicate. They're very, special to our heart. The glory of the man is the woman. So we cherish, the woman, but also women was in order. They had that Proverb 31, we call Proverb 31, virtuous, spirit owner, right? Men, men back there wasn't simple like today. Hell no. Because if she wasn't a wife, a lot of time, she would be, put away or unalive. So when you had those two things going, either be put away and your kids stay with him and you just out there by yourself, or unalive. A lot of women, put it like this here, um, they took hold of accountability for their action, you know. But anyway, it says that her eyes shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter. So yeah, it was 56. It wasn't 57. So her eyes is very evil towards her son, because that's evil to have your son, and you know that girls wear dresses. You know boys wear pants, and you let him go out there in the streets with a dress on, or really a miniskirt, going to school knowing that the boys are going to pick the hell out. They're going to pick on him real bad. And I'm sure listen, everybody's seen it. If you went to elementary, junior high, high school, guess what young people do? They pick and talk about each other. She was not thinking. She had no understanding. She like a child herself. What would make a grown woman do that? Because I guarantee you, if there was a grown man that made his daughter go with some boy attire and painted a mustache in her face and a beard, and have his daughter to sit with her legs open instead of with her legs closed, and somebody had an issue with that and put it on Facebook, all the women would be their father, need to be arrested, or or any negative thing. But when it come down to the woman, just like what that man said, the comments, ain't nothing wrong with that. He look cute though. Well, I'm telling you, people have really lost it. It seems like their way of thinking is just it's a carefree, do as you will, live spontaneous, and that's the way Esau have trained our men and women to live. That's not righteous. That's not keeping the commandment, because that boy right there, he continue living like that. It's gonna be two things. He's gonna grow up and be a homosexual man or a transgender, and the Lord, he's very much so against that, very much so. So this woman here, and I guarantee you, she go to church. Most of your black women stays in the church, and they claim that they believe the Bible, but they forget 3 of these scriptures. Well, really more than that, but I'm gonna point out the 3 for homosexuality. Leviticus 18 and 13 is one of them. Not 18. It's Elijah. 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It's an abomination. That's where he's leading to, due to his mama saying, I'm letting him express himself. No, he's seen that somewhere. Mama had let somebody in the house that have that particular lifestyle, and that boy that he learning, he trying to learn how to be a man. He see a man with a dress, and he thinking that that's cool. I'm telling you, when I was 8 years old, or even 6 years old, my mind wasn't nothing like that. And I think Yahweh Bashim Shah, that he didn't put a weak spirit in me to even think like that. Leviticus 20 and 13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And going down this particular path road, you're gonna have men that from homosexuality, they're going to be a cross dresser, and from a cross dresser, to a transgender. And you're gonna have men that gonna dress up like a woman, looking like a woman, deceiving guys. And a lot of guys are taking these wannabe women out of here because you tricked and deceived a guy to think that you was a woman. And then it gotten so bad with these, transgenders and these what you call transformers or whatever, that they have gotten so bold that they would take a picture of the guy, that's banging them, and put it on the internet to shame them, because they, just like a lot of these women, they do what the hell they want because they are protected. Society is going to believe them. Society is going to get that man, and he's going to suffer the consequences, even if she intentionally did it. And just like these lady boys, transformers or whatever, transgenders or whatever, they taking that same route. That's why they being bold with what they doing. They wait till he go to sleep, and the guy, not knowing that it's a man, and he falls asleep, or let's say that he don't fall asleep. She got a video of that man hitting him from behind or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's out there now. He ready to unalive you. So yeah, it says here, and they shall be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them, because you being wicked. And it started at home. I guarantee you that. She allowing all types of traffic coming in and out that house. Not any, not too much of straight men is going through that house. It's lady boys going through the house. And also, the mother might be looking at some more way off the wall TV shows. Those TV shows with drag queens or whatever. It can be. You have to be careful when you have children on what you watch, and you don't let anything come in your house. Especially if you're a child, they are easily influenced. And it's just, man, it's that's an abomination. So, give me 1 second. So, let me just go back to this video. Let me see, can I read it? Yeah, I'm gonna read a comment. This is by this comment here that I'm about to read is the mother and the principal. The mother's name is Williams. The principal name Mr. Smith. And I'm reading the title. Her son got sent home for wearing a skirt to school. It says here, Mr. Smith is texting Miss Williams. Hi, Miss Williams. It's Dr. Smith over at elementary. Do you have a moment? The lady, the mother, hey, Dr. Smith, yes, I'm at work, but I can text. I go on break in 30 minutes. Is everything okay? That's what she said. He said, so you're going to have to come and get Kevin. She said, what's wrong? Is he okay? Mr. Smith said yes, but he can't be in school setting dress inappropriately. You sent You send him to school in a skirt. Boys must dress like boys and girls must dress like girls. It's highly inappropriate for his age. He would either have to change clothes or leave. So this what the mother said. I let my son express himself. It doesn't say anything in the code or code of conduct of how gender dress. So she's going along to get along with the world. She's a 2/3. She hellfire coming her way because I can tell that she getting sassy. She rolling her eyes, snapping her fingers. She finna ready to tell him off. So it says here, it doesn't say anything in the code of conduct of how gender dress, as long as he has on the correct colors. She more concerned about the colors rather than what he got on a fucking dress. And it says here, Dr. Smith said, you have to come get him or bring clothes, otherwise he will sit in ISS, thanks. And then that's it. But I'm seeking out, get some old comments off this here, because this is sickening. Just bear with me.
It's only one person that I...
So can I pull that up? Might have to go to TikTok. TikTok probably have it. Because sometime on, really both TikTok and YouTube. So there's so much stuff going on, so much stuff put on TikTok and YouTube. It's kind of hard to pull that up. Let me go to history. Oh, here it is right here. Unbelievable. Well, so far, no comments are turned off. Let me see if there's any on TikTok. Hold on. Just bear with me.
Other reason.
Okay, let me go to TikTok. And if I can't find it on TikTok, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down.
This motherfucker, Billy Earl. Look at this motherfucker, bitch.
Come on. Come on. Little black boy wear dress to school. I guess not. I just want to read some comments just to add on. trying to see what's going on here. I said I don't have any internet. What's going on here? Unless it's raining real hard out there. Let me try it one more time and see some on Google. Oh, you're offline. Check your. Okay, hopefully this it will do. Some I don't know what it is, but it looked like maybe when I put do not disturb on my phone right here, it's not oh, that's strange. Yeah, I think that could be it. That's strange. But anyway, I'm not gonna push this out any longer. I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. Hopefully, it will edify. Listen, ladies, let the if you got a man, the child father in his life, let him participate. We know that on this side that you have a joint hand with Esau, and Esau have given you the power to have more authority over your son. Let your son, if you don't want your son to be like this here, even though I don't think he had a choice. I don't think he really wanted to dress like that. But then again, who knows? But this is not what the Lord wants our man to be. If you love your son, you let your son be with his father and let his father show him how to be a man. Or take him to your uncle. Because like I said, there are some asshole fathers out there. But I'd rather see your son with your asshole husband or boyfriend or whoever he is to you, to be raised by him than to be, walking in the street with a skirt, with a dress, a mini skirt. It's too many of these ladies boys in the street, and y'all hollering about there's not enough good men. Well, y'all are part of the issue. Y'all allow this. Y'all let these men come around your children, and then your children act like that. And then a lot of them, in a way, a lot of you women, you don't want your son to be like that. But you allow men that is like that in your surrounding. And then when your son get like that, then, well, I still love him, but the Bible says it's abomination. The Heavenly Father, he hate that. You have given your son over to death, over to a reprobate mind. You and Esau. Because Esau loved to see our Israelite man like this here, especially Jake. One more. Let's go into the script. One more, and then I'm gonna end it. Is Ecclesiastes 30? Let me see if that's it. Ecclesiastes 3, I believe. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get to the part where when his father leaves or dies or whatever, it'll be one left like him. Um, can't understand why. Okay, let me go back to Ecclesiastes 30. Okay, yeah, it's in Ecclesiastes 30. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read 1 through 6. Ecclesiastes 30, 1 through 6. He that loveth his son causes him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Now, if this woman says that I'm just letting my son express his feelings of how he want to live his life or whatever, now that's stupidity right there. A grown woman letting some child decide um, on what they want to dress and how they want to look. A child that age don't have the opportunity, and especially in my house, to be like that. If you're gonna be like that, you're gonna get your own house. But in my house, you're gonna dress like a little boy's supposed to be. And if he did, if what she said was true, let me go back to what she had said. Uh, I'm letting my son express the way he feel. No, you put a belt to ass on that right there. That said, he that loveth his son, she don't love her son, because deep inside she know that it's not of Yahweh B'Shem Shai. He that loveth his son, calls him off to feel the rod, to be whooped, to be spanked, that he may have joy of him in the end. So if you don't whoop him now, he gonna bring hell to you in the end, because he gonna want everything to himself. He think the world belong to him. He think that he can't get in trouble, no accountability, no nothing. He have to learn how to respect, take accountability, learn responsibility, be a righteous, brother, respect his neighbor and stuff like that. If you don't show him that, you don't teach him that, and if you don't discipline him, he ain't gonna be a joy towards the end of your life. He gonna bring hell. Verse 2: He that chastens his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. You got a badass kid, you're not gonna be able to enjoy him in front friends and family, because friends and family gonna tell you you need to put some on his ass and quit, acting like it's cute and it's not. So, but anyway, verse 3, he that teaches his son grieveth the enemy. See, Esau, he don't want you to say no to that. Esau, he pushes women and men to have their children to accept their lifestyle. They love that because you not an enemy to him no more. You are that passive, broken wrist man, woman that he can handle. He want to handle you. He want to control you. But a man, a stout, a righteous man of the Lord, he's afraid of that. It says it again. Let me go back to it again. He that teaches his son grieves the enemy. It angers him. He don't want this. He don't want your son to learn nothing. He don't want your son to learn how to be a man, how to be a righteous man of Yahweh Bashim Awashai. Could it tell you in what was it? I think it was Revelation and also in Ezekiel 37, and I want to say Revelation 11, where the man stood up on their feet because they gained knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the truth, and they stood up on their feet, and the enemy was afraid. Yeah, they don't want that. And before his friend he shall rejoice of him, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left one behind him that is like himself. So if his father was a man, and his father was dealing with wicked Esau, Edom, telling you to stay away from him, don't trust him, or he's whooping the hell out of Esau, Edom, whatever. He's not letting Esau, Edom control his family. He's not letting Esau, Edom giving him Christianity. He's not letting Esau, Edom feed his children poison. He know the laws about eating abominable food. He know not to eat that. He know not to celebrate his Esau holidays. A real man, he's going to come out of Esau world, be separate from it. Esau want to be in control. Verse 5, while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowed. He left behind him an avenger against his enemy. See, that's what Esau don't want. When his father died, let me read 5 again. It said, while he liveth, he saw and rejoiced in him. So while the father is while he's living, he saw and rejoiced in his son, that his son gonna be okay. His son is a chip off the old block, and I taught him everything. I told him who to beware of. Just like Nolan Ware father. This is just me speaking as a man, because sometimes when these young men and young women, when they get a certain age, they want to do what they want to do, and they always want to say, well, mama and daddy, that's in y'all time, things have changed. It's not like it was in your time. A lot of these children, they don't think that it can happen. If they say, they don't think fat meat greasy until it happened. So I'm not going to say that his father didn't tell him, but let's say that he didn't, that he got comfortable, and he didn't give his son the warning of your enemy, not to be going on boat trips or going out in the woods. You the only, so-called black man amongst, 15 Edomites. Not to do that. That's how they said. That's a talk that every father and son and daughter, and also mother, need to have with their children. That's a talk with every father and every mother that need to have a talk with their daughter and their son. And let's say that the father, he dropped the ball. Let's say that he did. This is what it's talking about right here. It says here, he left behind him an avenger. He told him his enemy. And the deal is that avenger, he's going to strike when it need to be, when he need to strike. When he need to protect his family and see him coming, he's ready because his father told him about Esau Edom. He's that rust that never was removed. He's that that foggy mirror when you think it's not him and you wipe your hand and he's there. He have not been removed. He's still your enemy. Psalms 83. Check that out. It says that, and one that shall requite kindness to his friend. So how his father treated his friend, how they connect, how they, talk, shot the breeze or, shoot the shit or whatever. Well, his son gonna come in the same fashion. It's almost like they didn't lose a friend. His son is an example, is a chip off the block, just like his father was, as if they never lost him. They see him right there again, So I'm gonna end it right there. Hopefully this was edifying. See you on the next lesson. Shalom.